Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're just waiting for some more candidates to join us. Welcome to the session. My name is Ursi van der Hersen, and I'm zooming in from Barcelona, so far away from most of you. Today we have candidates from all around Africa. So I saw some of you from Rwanda, from Nigeria, from Chad, from South Africa, from the Gambia, Senegal, Kenya, Ghana. So feel free to write us something in the chat. Let us know where you're zooming in from, what program you're interested in. And then we're looking forward also to having a chat with you later and answer all your questions that you have. So as I said, I'm representing Esade. I'm responsible for the recruitment in Sub-Saharan Africa for our master programs, MBA programs, and executive MBA programs. Well, I'm very honored to be, I would say, surrounded virtually by three very inspiring women that you're going to be meeting very shortly. And I think what we would like to do today is, first of all, I would like to present Esade to you, because some of you might not know all the programs we are offering. So I will talk a little bit more about the programs, and then, of course, give you some tips from our side, from the school side, about how to make your application shine, what is important for us for candidates, to attract candidates and to admit candidates to our profile, to our programs. And then my colleague Bimpe from Adun Consulting, as much as I've already been working in Africa for the last 6 years, it's going to be very interesting to hear also the tips and the experience that Bimpe has at Adun Consulting, helping African candidates apply to different schools. And then after that, we're going to have a conversation with two other inspiring ladies, which are Tinyan. Tinyan is currently doing the MBA at Esade. She's from Nigeria. And then also Farami, who has been currently admitted to the MBA program. And it's going to be quite interesting for you also to hear from them how they prepared and their experience in general. So this said, I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. Perfect. I think you can see my my screen now. As I said, well, this session has been possible thanks to the collaboration with Adun Consulting, and I'm really happy that Bimpe could join us. We had the pleasure to meet in Barcelona and then also in Nigeria, right, where she attended our alumni event in December. So I already introduced you Bimpe. She's the founder and CEO of Adun Consulting. Tinyan, before starting the full-time MBA, she was working as an in-house lawyer at Globacom in Nigeria. And then Farami, she is now working, so she's now still in Nigeria, where she's working as project manager at Wellspring, a rehab center, and then also founder of her own company that for sure she will tell you a bit more about that afterwards. Now, Esade. So Esade Business and Law School is structured by 3 units. So we have, first of all, the business school, then the law school, and executive education. So our MSCs, full-time MBA, executive MBA programs are part of the business school. Esade has a triple accreditation. Almost, I think only about 1% of the schools worldwide have this accreditation. If you want to know more about that, I would like to invite you to do a little bit more research on that or check out the website. Esade is working with a lot of partner schools worldwide on all the continents. And we have exchange agreements with different schools that go from electives, exchange programs, study tours, visiting professors. So there's a lot of interaction going on with all those partner schools worldwide. This is a very important slide because, well, it represents the values of Esade. We're very much attached to that. We're always wanting to transmit those values to our students. And first of all, it's a collaborative spirit. So Esade has nothing to do with personal competition. So it's all about working together, learning from each other, and sharing experience. So a lot of group work. Then the hands-on experience that you will see in our programs, our professors are all business practitioners. So you will have a lot of opportunities to interact with companies on very different levels. And then focus on you. What I want to say with that is that our programs, they're all very much customizable. So depending on where you see yourself in the future, you will be able to customize with electives, with clubs, with tracks, with study tours, and so on. Now, diversity is one of the main, I would say, very important, which we, when selecting candidates for our program, we want to have diversity in class, not only nationality-wise, but of course, background-wise, and then also religion-wise, even sexual orientation. So Esade is very well known to be open-minded, to be welcoming students from all different backgrounds. And then Esade has been founded by Jesuits more than 50 years ago. And we put a lot of emphasis on social impact. So there's going to be a lot of also opportunities for you to participate in that during the program. This said, we have currently more than 73,000 alumni worldwide. We have official chapters in 74 cities around the world. And then also, well, there's a lot of activities going on in those chapters, which, of course, for our students is very helpful if you're going to be relocating, if you're going to be doing business in other cities around the world, knowing that you always have this network to rely on, or for personal relations, right? Now, we have every year more than 15,000 students on campus and more than 125 nationalities. Barcelona, I don't know how many of you have been to Barcelona, but it is a city to fall in love with. I'm not originally from Barcelona, I'm from Belgium, but I've been living here for 25 years. And I must say it's a city that is very difficult to leave. And not only, I mean, tourist-wise and the beaches and the nice weather, but also business-wise. So we have a very important entrepreneurial startup scene in Barcelona. A lot of startups are coming to Barcelona, setting up their business. There is a lot of space for innovation, a lot of international conferences taking place in Barcelona. Some of the rankings, and there I just marked one in yellow because this is our recent ranking that came out this week in the Financial Times. Our MBA has been ranked 8 worldwide, so we're very proud of that. And then, well, you can see some other rankings here. For those of you interested in entrepreneurship, we're the first in Europe. We have an amazing angel investors network that is working constantly with the school, investing in projects that our students are bringing in. And then, of course, also, I think interesting for you to know is that we're also the first in Europe for the salary increase. So comparing the starting salary with then the salary that our students have after graduation. What programs are we offering? Bachelor degrees, masters, executive MBA, full-time MBA, and executive education. So in this presentation, we're going to be concentrating on the masters and then the MBA programs, but just knowing that we also have these other options. The masters, we are currently offering 6 different masters, each of them with a specific focus. So we have business analytics, finance, innovation, entrepreneurship, international management, marketing management, and sustainability management, which is our latest program that we launched 2 years ago. And then, of course, a double degree that we're offering with the SAMS International organization. The structure of our programs is the same for all the programs. So it's a 1-year program, full-time program. You start courses mid-September, you finish your courses in June, with then the option to do an internship and graduation happening in October. We have, for those of you that don't have a background in the program that you're choosing, you will have to do a pre-program, being in finance, being in business, and then data science. But that's a program that is taking place online, and you will start in July, August. And then all of our students have to be in Barcelona mid-September. 3 terms, and then you will see there are a lot of options here too to customize the program through the study tours. I'm going to tell you a bit more about that later. And then also the master project, where you also have the choice to do a thesis, in-company project, business plan, and then of course the electives in the last term. It's a very international experience. You will see that you have the option to do a study tour. Those study tours are taking place worldwide. And I think there's somebody that has the microphone open.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind muting. Okay, I will mute. Okay, perfect. You have the opportunity also to study another language. Now, talking about study tours, which are quite a very, very interesting international exposure that you will have in the master program. So it's a 1-week program where you're going to be on campus, one of our partner schools. You're going to be interacting with companies, having classes with their professors. Each program has 1, 2, or 3 study tours. You have the priority to do the study tour of your program, but then you can also do a study tour of another program. If you say, okay, I'm doing international management, but I want to be doing the entrepreneurship Silicon Valley study tour. So you can apply for that one and then join the group there. But you see, we go to very different locations around the world, Asia, in the States, Africa. We have an official partnership with Cape Town University, and then of course in Europe. The SAMS program, I mentioned this previously. So this is a double degree option. Esade is the only school in Spain that is part of the SAMS association. These are 34 schools, 1 school per country. It's a worldwide, a very prestigious association of management schools. With this program, when you choose to do this program, what's going to happening in your second year, you're going to be doing 1 term at Esade, 1 term in one of the 33 partner schools that are part of the SAMS program, and then you're going to be doing a global internship. The class profile we have in between, all the 6 programs, we have about 576 students. We have 72 nationalities, 91% international students, which means that we really keep track on this diversity. So in this case, we have only 9% of Spanish. While if you might be going to an American school, a Canadian school, you might have a majority of local students attending. So this is not the case at Esade. We have the highest representation coming from Europe, and we are very much eager to attract more students from Africa. So yeah, would like to invite those of you that are interested, go ahead and apply. Academic background, the majority is coming from business or economics, but then also social sciences, engineering, and then other industries like healthcare and backgrounds like law. The full-time MBA program, mentioned before, we are very proud of our latest ranking. The program is also very much customizable, like the master programs. First of all, regarding the duration, you can choose between 12 months, 15 months, or 18 months. And you will see 12 months is a standard program for all our students. Then if you are interested in doing an internship or an exchange program, we work with more than 40 partner schools around the world. Then, of course, you're going to be choosing the 15 months program, but then you also have the opportunity to do an exchange program and an internship, and then you will be going to the 18 months. Some of our students, they prefer to do 2 internships or 3 internships, and then, of course, will be with us for 18 months. There are more opportunities to customize, not only the length of the program, but through electives in the last term. These are electives that, well, depending on where you see yourself going after the MBA, you will make a selection of the electives that you think will help you. We also have career accelerator programs. If you're interested in going into consulting, financial services, tech, or healthcare, our career team is specialized in those sectors and will then adapt all the career activities on this sector. Now, for those of you that don't know where they want to go and they would still want to experience and meet companies from different sectors, we have also an Explorer program that is organized by the career team. And then, of course, we have different labs that you can join, like innovation, marketing, entrepreneurship, social impact, and family business. The profile of our full-time MBA program, every year, again, about 180 students. We have 43 nationalities. And then here, 98% of international students. You can see here that it's a little bit more diverse, the countries where our students are coming from, highest representations from Latin America and from Asia, and then Europe. And currently we have 7 students doing the full-time MBA from Africa out of the 180. Female participants, we went down this year, so we had more than 40% last year, but we've been doing a lot of activities, all departments together, to attract more female talent to the MBA program, and I think we're going into the right direction. The background here, we have a higher representation of engineering than in the masters, but then also tech, and then the other backgrounds that I mentioned before. Exchange programs, so it's a 3-month exchange program. We have 47 partners around the world. Besides the exchange, you also have the opportunity to do study tours and career tracks. The career tracks are organized by the student clubs and the career team. And these tracks are more focused on meeting companies, doing interviews in different cities around the world, as you can see here. Well, mainly Europe, but then also in mainly Europe, sorry. It's in Dubai, where we're going for the study tour, Miami, South Africa. All right, so then a little bit more about the Executive MBA program. So the Executive MBA program is a part-time program. That means that our students are working while they're doing the program. This year, we have 20% of Africans in the program. Out of the 10, 8 women, where we're also very proud of. The learning approach is it's a combined learning approach where we will be doing case studies, coaching, we will be doing simulations, outdoor training, leadership development, and so on. So we have different formats. Now, the format that is most of interest and for candidates coming from Africa would be the hybrid and blended format, because this format, our students don't have to travel every month. So they have online classes every Friday or Saturday, and then every couple of months, they have a 1-week module from Monday until Saturday. From those modules, 5 are mandatory and 2 are optional. So 3 are in Barcelona, 1 on our campus in Madrid, 1 our students can choose between Berlin and Dubai, and then 2 optional modules, 1 in Japan and the other one is in the US. So this, I would say, is the format of our Executive MBA program. We have 4 phases. Again, here in the last phase, the option to customize with electives. With electives, not only offered by Esade, but also offered by partner schools that we have worldwide. Through the program, there's going to be topics that you're going to be taking with you during the entire program, like the leadership development program, the management skills, growth mindset, and then also the global perspective. So talking about electives, here we have 13 different schools that are offering their electives. So you also will have the choice to go. These are electives that are 1, 2, or 3 days long. There's not a limit, so you can do as many as you want. If you say, oh, look, I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to be in Europe, so I'm going to be combining all the electives that are taking place in Europe. Or I don't want to travel, and some of the schools also have online electives. Or I'm based in South Africa, and GIPS is also organizing a lot of electives. So why I can stay in South Africa and do all the electives here? So there are different ways here to customize the program again. The profile, this is the blended, so the hybrid format. We have here a very, very high representation of women. And then you can see here that the profile is more senior, of course, than the full-time MBA program. We have 32 nationalities, countries represented out of the 49 students. So very, very international. Application process for all our programs. We ask you to fill in an online application. You will have to upload some additional documents, where we also require an admissions test, where you have the choice to do the GMAT, the GRE, or the Esade Test. Then once you have submitted your application and you have paid the application fee of €135, if you're interested in doing the Esade Test, you can then book your Esade Test. As soon as the application is complete, we have the result of the test. There's going to be an official interview, which is going to be with me. And then I will be representing your application to the committee. So we have a weekly committee, which means that decisions are taking very fast from our side. So you don't have to wait very long to know the decision of the committee. Now, and here we come to the topic that I would like to elaborate a little bit more on. So what can you do to make your application shine, right? First of all, let us talk a little more about the essay. So in the online application, you will see there are some questions which are, all together, they are what we call the essay. So we would ask you, of course, to be relevant, to mention your experience that you have, the motivation for doing the program. Of course, we will talk about that also during the interview. But I mean, altogether, I would say make the essay, all the questions together, one page and a half. That would be, I mean, recommended. Show that you've done your research, and show your motivation and your interest, because I mean our candidates are applying, most of them are applying for several schools. The average is 3 schools, but I also I have interviewed some candidates that are applying for many more schools, and then it's going to be really difficult really to adapt your application to the school. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work, right? So what I recommend is make your shortlist. In order to make your shortlist, talk to students, attend sessions like those that we're organizing today, so that you can really shortcut and see, okay, those are the schools that are most of my interest. ChatGPT, of course, we are all using ChatGPT, but make sure that you add some human touch to it, right? Because at the end, it's going to be about you. We need to know your motivation, who you are. So that's really going to be important. The CV, I mean, most of you already have your CV. And of course, this is a document that you have to update, I mean, all the time, right? If you have new experiences, also, of course, make sure that you don't send me a CV for a job application, because I have received some of those. Make sure that the CV is appropriate for an application to a business school. Don't make it too long. Don't send us 12 pages, because of course we have a lot of candidates, and it's really important for us to make sure what are the most important things about you, right? What is your most important work experience? And then of course also your background, your educational background. I would recommend to add a picture. I know it could be maybe not appropriate for some cultures, but as I said, we have a lot of candidates, and it really makes it more visual for us to remember also the candidates that we've talked with. It's also important to add your hobbies, because at the end, if you're captain of a football club, for example, it really shows your team, your teamwork, your leadership. So select the hobbies that you think that will be important for us. All right. Recommendation letters for the MSCs and for the MBA program, we ask for 2 letters. For the Executive MBA, it's or a recommendation letter or a company support letter. So if you have an internship experience, if you have work experience, I would really recommend to have at least one professional one, and then the other one can be an academic one. Ask somebody to recommend who has been working with you closely, who really knows your strength and your points that you can approve, and why they recommend for you to do this program, how it can add value to your future career. Give them a deadline, because most of those executives are very busy. Of course, don't tell them I need it for tomorrow, give them a deadline so that we are sure that your application is not in the wait list, and we're on time for the several deadlines. I also recommend, and that's why we organize this joint event, to ask the help. Don't hesitate to go to a consultant, to a prep center, who help you not only with the test, but also about other topics for your application. I recommend, to also do, if you do the GMAT, the GRE, also do the Esade Test, because it gives you a second chance for a better score. And then we will take in account the best score, right? So that you know that the Esade Test is free of charge. It's very similar to the GMAT, so you study with the same materials. The test is 100 minutes long, and it has a similar structure to the GMAT. The difference is that it is not adaptive, and you can also use a calculator, which makes it, I would say, maybe slightly easier than the GMAT. So the interview itself, well, of course, it's obvious. We want you to be punctual, to dress properly. Your background, as much as I like Africa, I want to see the busy cities. I want to see, what's going on in your daily life. During the interview, of course, make sure that you have a tidy background, that make sure that you have a good connection, which could be sometimes also challenging in Africa. We're very much aware about that. So yeah, be relaxed. It is an interview, but it's not an exam. So just be yourself, and show your interest, show that you've done your research. Now, the financing, very quickly, we offer 2 kinds of scholarships: a need-based scholarship, which goes up to 85% of the tuition fee, and then also excellence awards. For the Executive MBA, we have an Africa Talent Award, which is 50%. So for good profiles, we are granting 50% scholarships. And then, of course, we have different loan options with different financial institutions, but then also Bimpe will also give you further information on that, very much more focused on the African market. Careers team, I talked about that before, all the activities that are taking place during the year. It's going to be very intense. A lot of your time is going to be dedicated to career activities. Regarding the MSc programs, you can see here 93% of our students have a job after the 3 months of the program. Their average salary, starting salary after graduation, is 80,000. And then after 3 years, we're talking about a salary of $108,000. The MBA program, we have 40% of our students that did a triple change. So that means change country, change sector, and change job title. And then also, well, you can see here the salary after 3 years after graduation. The Executive MBA, most of, our executives, they're not necessarily looking for a radical change like in the full-time MBA program or the master programs. So a lot of them are doing the program because they want to move up into their company. They want to grow to a C-level position. They want to start their own business, or they're also looking into other opportunities and moving to another company. So these are some of the companies that are recruiting on campus. I would like to invite you to check out the employment reports that you can find on the website. And then here again, this is my last slide. I have launched a Focus on Africa YouTube channel. It is in my signature. I will send all of you an email tomorrow. So I would really recommend to have a look at that channel. There are a lot of sessions that have been taking place the last 5 years with testimonials of students, alumni from the African continent. And then maybe one last comment on this picture on the top here. You see the gentleman in the middle. He's our new general manager who is leading Esade since September. And he grew up in Mozambique. So we had very interesting conversations with him. He's a person who's has already brought a lot of change. He's very revolutionary. So we're very happy to have him on board, and also to have his connection with the African continent. So this is everything that I would wanted to highlight, and I would like to give the microphone now to Bimpe, who's gonna tell you many more interesting information. Hi, Bimpe.
Hi, Usi. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you everyone for taking the time to be here this evening. My name is Bimpe Femi-Oyewo. I am the founder and CEO of Edward Consulting. Edward Consulting is an educational consulting firm that is working with Africans from Nigeria, Ghana, Malawi, Zambia, Kenya, and just so many other African countries to help them get into the best schools and not have to worry so much about funding. So one of the key things we focus on at Edward Consulting is working with people to be able to maximize their funding opportunity and ensure that they can access quality education overseas at an affordable rate. And in 6 years, we've been able to secure over $22 million in scholarships. This has been for graduate programs and undergraduate programs. Specifically for the MBA program, we've done about 13.8 million. So that's one of our niches, but we've also gotten really great numbers with business analytics, EMBA as well, international development and undergraduate programs. And a lot of our clients are able to secure funding ranging from about 50% to 100% in scholarships, because we understand that as Africans, especially with the devaluation of a lot of our currencies, accessing quality education is challenging. And so we wanted to make sure that if anyone was putting in the work, showing up, we wanted to ensure that funding wasn't an issue and they were able to do so. And amazingly, we have a client that just got into Esade with a 50% social impact scholarship, and she's also applying for the financial need-based scholarship. And so we're really excited about that. Right, and our clients have gotten into programs all over the world, in Spain, in France, in Germany, in the US, UK, and Canada, to name a few. And we've worked with about 8,000 plus Africans in different capacities, where we've held webinars, where we've worked with people directly, where we've attended the MBA tour and spoken at different events all around the world. Thank you. You can move to the next slide. All right, and so we understand that while some people might be able to get a lot of funding, we also understand that there might still be gaps, right? Where, the program you're applying to may not be 100% and you're able to get 85. Can you hear me?
Yes,
okay.
we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. And so you're able to get maybe 85. And so what we wanted to do was we partnered with leading loan organizations that support international education. And I think this is very important to mention, because I went to school in the US when I was 16. I moved to the US, my first degree, and then moved back to Nigeria, worked for a bit, and then went back to the US to Duke University. And at the time that I went to school, there was no such things as loans for international students, right? You literally had to get a co-signer from the country. You could not get a loan by yourself, right? And so this is really revolutionary, because I remember being in the US and having some students that had like financial hardship or lost a parent, and suddenly it was very challenging for them to actually complete their studies. And I think about how having an Empower or Prodigy could have really, really come in and helped them. So Empower and Prodigy are two loan companies that support international students. And what we've done is we've partnered with them, and at no charge to you, we're able to work with you to help you through that application process, ensuring that your chances of success are high, because we understand what they're looking for. We understand things that could be a red flag, and we are also advocating. So if there's a scenario where someone's loan gets rejected, we go back and we're like, what's going on? What's the problem? And we try and fix it. We've also had scenarios where a school, because for Prodigy and Empower, they have partner schools. We've had scenarios where they supported a partner school, but not a particular program. And we've gone to advocate for why that program should be included. And that student was able to get funding as a result of that. So for us, we want to ensure that funding isn't stopping African talent from progressing, from achieving career, like elevating their career and just accessing life-changing opportunities. Right? So very quickly, I'm going to go over some application tips. I tried to make it as generic as possible because I wanted to make sure that we had a lot of time to have more in-depth conversations and discussions, right? And hear from some of these amazing students that have gotten into this program, so you can kind of, get tips from them as well. So for me, the first point I want to touch on is funding should be a key criteria in school selection. So many times people write to us and say, oh, hi guys, I secured admission. Can you help me with funding? And I always say that that's the wrong approach. Part of why you should be selecting a school is because one, they have the program. Two, maybe they have a specialization that you're very interested in. And three, they have good funding. You should not be thinking of funding after you've applied. So think about Esade now. She just talked about the fact that there is a 50% scholarship available for Africans that are excellent and other scholarships. In addition to that, they have a need-based scholarship that is even higher than that need-based funding, that's even higher than that scholarship. So it means that there is funding available. So imagine applying to Esade thinking there's funding and there's no funding, but this is not the case. If you do your research, you're able to see that this school has funding for you, because sometimes what happens is people get into amazing programs and we're excited, and when we do the research, there's just no funding for them to apply to because they don't have funding for maybe international students or for Africans, or their profile is not a good fit for the funding that is available. So it's essential that part of the reason you should be selecting a school, if funding matters to you, you need to consider what are the options. And is there scholarships? Are there need-based funding? And as well, are there opportunities to get a loan? Because some schools don't have partnerships with loans like Prodigy. And so even when you have a gap, you're kind of stuck. Another thing to consider is, I think that people really shy away from telling their story. And I always say your story is so powerful. It's how you stand out. And there will be so many opportunities for you to tell your story. One, through the essays, right? You're going to be talking about your goals. Connecting your goals to your story allows the reader and admission committee to connect better with you, right? People remember stories, right? There's some stories you heard 10 years ago that stuck with you. But there's some conversations you had this week you can't remember. You probably have to pull out your notes. So stories are so powerful. So don't be afraid to tell your stories. Use it. Show whatever you've gone through, adversity, whatever you struggled with, whatever you've been able to overcome, and how that has inspired you to want to apply to this program, or how that has inspired your career goals. And I think it will be, when you talk about telling your unique story, I have to connect it to demonstrate your career vision. I personally feel like when you're writing your essays, an essay that is asking you about what are your short-term and long-term goals, I think it's more powerful when you connect that to a story, right? Something that inspired your goals and how you're trying to do this after, post-MBA, post whatever master's program, right? To address a gap, address a need that stands out, and that allows them to connect with you. And that thing where you root for people that you connect with. They might not be the most exceptional, but there's just something about the application, right? Because the admission committee is going to release so many applications, and this is a great way to set yourself apart. Still speaking on career vision, your career vision has to be clear, right? The more specific you are, the better. If you can go in depth into post-MBA, I plan to get a job as a product manager in Google, in Google, right? In technology companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon. It's so specific. It tells the admission committee that you've had time to think about what you want to do. You've been able to think about the industry, the actual title or role you want to occupy, and some companies you're considering, right? And then your short-term goal should connect to your long-term goal, right? You can't say you want to do product, marketing, be a product manager, and then you're saying, oh, energy. It can be off, right? So it's always better, from my experience, for your goals to connect and for it to be tied to a story. The more specific you can be about, what you're trying to do post-MBA, the better. And of course, quantify your achievements. This is important for your essays, but it's also extremely important for your CV. Most MBA CVs are one pages. It's one page. You might see a few schools that might accept up to 2, but most are one page. So it's going to be one of those things where if you're coming in with 7, 8, 9 years of experience and you're applying for a full-time program, it can be challenging putting that into one page, but it's possible because your focus should be on quality versus quantity. How do you show the value of what you've done? Not that you're just listing your responsibilities. I mean, we can find that on Google. We can look up your job duties and see what your responsibilities are. But we want to understand the value you brought to that role. And the best way is to quantify. I led a team to achieve, 500,000, 50% increase, which generated. Be specific about those achievements. Quantify them in your CV, as well as quantify them in your essays. If you get an essay that is asking you, tell me a time you led a team, be clear on the example you're giving and the results afterwards, and be able to show the steps you took as a leader to push that team and influence that team forward. So quantifying your achievement is important, not only for your CV, but also for your essays, and of course, also in your interviews, right? Because when you're speaking to, your interviewer from the admission committee, you want to ensure that you're being as clear as possible and you're showcasing why you're the best fit for that program. And then when it comes to references, you have to choose the right references. When you choose the right references, it strengthens your application, right? And I would say something, you don't want to be that person that is telling your referees, 1 week before. I would encourage you to give them at least 2.5 weeks. And there's one thing that what we do is we encourage our clients and help our clients work on a one-pager, showcasing things you want them to highlight, right? About, the work you've done with them, if there's any achievement, especially if you've worked with someone for like 5, 6 years, it's easy for them to forget some of the little things that become the big things. So having that one page allows them to say, okay, you want me to highlight your leadership, you want me to highlight this project or this initiative you led, right? And guide them in that process. If you do not choose the right people, and what do I mean by right people? People that will not ghost you or disappear. People that you've worked closely with. I see so many times people say, I want to choose the CEO or the managing director. How closely have you worked with the person? Well, I see them from time to time. That's not the best person to write for you. The person you want to write for you is not necessarily the person that has the highest title. Is a senior person that can speak closely about the work you've done because you've worked closely with that person. And that person would be in a better position to quantify and show the impact you've had, right? And remember, I think, you always remember to thank them afterwards because they're a huge part of this process. If they send if their recommendation letter is not strong, that can really weaken your application. Another tip I want to touch on is one size doesn't fit all for your interviews. And this is one size doesn't fit all for your whole essays. And Uzi touched on this a little bit. And I think it's so important because I see people just want to copy and paste. The lazy approach does not allow you stand out. Remember, it doesn't allow you stand out. It doesn't attract funding. They can tell that you have just recycled the same thing. There has to be effort. It's the same thing with interviews. If you've been invited to interview for a program, yes, preparing for it is essential. Part of your preparation should entail you reaching out to either an alumni or a current student to learn more about the program so you can understand and ask questions you have about specific places or initiatives or things the programs have that you resonate with. Because then when you have that conversation, it comes across more authentic. It shows that you've done a lot more effort and put in a lot more effort and you're truly interested, right? Because only someone that's interested will go that mile. Just looking on the internet and, keeping it very surface level is not adequate, right? And when it comes to interview, I find that after each interview, it's important for you to say thank you. Send thank you emails. It goes a long way. You know, they took the time to meet with you, learn from you. They didn't have to. Some people are not necessarily invited for an interview if they're not a good fit, but you are. So take the time to appreciate it. I think it would be a great way for you to stand out as well. And in that email, share something, hi, dear Uzi, oh my gosh, it was amazing to learn about your dog. You know, I love dogs too. I'm really hoping I can get to see, like, it doesn't matter where the conversation goes, right? Say something, that was discussed in that, and that allows you to further connect with them. And finally, well, not really finally, because we're going to continue the conversation, select the best programs for your profile and goals. Ultimately, ranking is important, having the stats are important, but you need to ensure that the school that you are selecting is a good fit for you, your goals. What are you trying to do post-MBA? What are you interested in? That it fits your profile. And the only way to know that is by connecting with the community. Like now, joining this webinar to learn more about Esade, connecting with current students, connecting with ADCOM, right? Connecting with, attending Access MBA to meet, and learn more about the program. These things inform you and allow you to make the best decision. So you don't end up somewhere and have regrets, right? That, oh, I don't think it's a good fit for me, right? But if you do the proper research, connect with the community, you get a sense, you learn the culture of the program. Is this for me? Are they too serious? Am I more laid back? And you get a sense of okay, they have entrepreneurship focus. That's my focus. I love this. So it's important that you do that, because ultimately people might have, and I know in this part of the world, people have a lot of opinions. Oh, don't go here, this school, I don't know the school. It's not their school, it's your experience. You have to choose what is best for you. And the only way to do that is by doing the appropriate research so that you end up in an amazing program you love and that will be life-changing. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bimpe. I would not have been able to say it better. So I agree with everything you said. Thank you for sharing also your point of view. I think we're ready to have a conversation with our students and candidates.
Awesome. Is Anu here?
I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, there we go.
But I am, if you guys are ready.
Hi.
Hi.
What's going to be called? I wasn't sure if Anu was your first or last.
My surname is Adun, but my name is Tinian.
Oh, your name is Tinian. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, hi,
all right,
everybody.
all right. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to open it up, and I'm going to be doing Q&A with our amazing other speakers to just learn about their experience. So I think let's start with introductions. I think we can start with introductions. Can you tell us more about you, your journey, and just kind of be able to, so we can learn more about, who you are?
Okay, so hi, everyone. My name is Tinian. I am a full-time MBA student of class 2026. Prior to becoming a student, I was a lawyer in Nigeria. I worked at Globalcom Telecommunications for 3 years as a corporate lawyer. And then I decided to pursue my MBA because I was looking to diversify my career paths and options, because law sort of streamlines you into just one path. So I decided I've always wanted to get an MBA anyway, an MBA rather. I wasn't going to do an LLM. So I was looking between the US, and then I also happened to open my options to Spain or Europe, and then I came across Risi and Esade, and I applied, and it was a very smooth, straight to the point process. And I'm fortunate enough to be one of the I applied for the need-based scholarship, and I also got it. So yes, thank you. So major reason why I could make it here anyways, because Esade is not cheap, but it's totally doable. And yeah, been here for 5 months, and I would chalk it down as one of the best 5 months of my life so far. So yes, I can say that for a fact.
Amazing. I'm gonna come back to that, why it's like one of the best 5 months of your life.
Yeah.
But I want to first go to Jesuferanmi. Jesuferanmi, can you just share a little bit about yourself as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Jesuferanmi Bankole. I just got an admission from Esade, so yay, thank you. The process, honestly, okay, so let me talk about what I do because I'm still working. So I work at a non-profit rehabilitation center here in Lagos, Nigeria, treating substance use disorder, that's drug addiction. I also founded a startup, Planet Vona. Well, I'm trying to get it off the ground, which is one of the reasons I decided to go for an MBA because I have a very diverse experience, but I realized that I needed core skills and then just better exposure and access to resources, funding, and just, have an experience in a great place, which Esade provides. So that's one of the reasons. And also because I'm really focused on social impacts, but I love making money. So I'm trying to find a way to just bridge that gap and be a successful entrepreneur, but sort of in that niche. And Esade is all about, very big on social impact and entrepreneurship and innovation. And that's why from the moment I found out about Esade, I just said, you know what, I definitely want to get to the school. So yes, I just got my admission. The process was very, very, it was wonderful. I met Ursi at the Access MBA fair in Lagos at the Lagos Continental in Victoria Island. And we just really connected. I met an executive MBA candidate as well. And she told me about all of the things she was doing and how Esade has really supported her. And I was just wow, because that was the first time I heard any candidates or alumni be so explicit about what they had gained from the program. So that was just great. And the process has been wonderful. I booked let's just say a session with Ursi on a Calendly, and it was great. And then I applied. And the good thing about study is you don't have to clutch your seats for so long. You get a decision very quickly, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, more in certain cases, I would think, but very quickly. So your anxiety won't build up too much, which is very helpful because the MBA process can be stressful. I also had to take the GRE, and I took the GRE exam because I wanted to maximize my options. I did some research and I found out that some certain employers will prefer candidates who have taken the GRE. So I thought, okay, let me take it. That was a stressful process. I mean, I can talk about that if anybody would like to know about it. But so far it's been great. I got the Excellence Award for Social Impact. So yes, and I also applied for the need-based scholarship. So I'm very hopeful. And so yeah, it's been a great experience. Thank you, Ursi. Thank you so much for the experience that I've had so far. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, congratulations. So amazing. I think that you touched on something I was going to go to, so I'm just going to segue into that. I know that a lot of people here are thinking about tests, what test should I take? GRE, GMAT, how important how would that help improve my, chances of admission or scholarships? And so I wanted to learn from both of you. Did you take any of this test? I know, Jesuferanmi, you just mentioned that you took GRE. I'd like you to share tips and just talk about like what that process was like and just some encouraging words. Because I know like studying for this test can be a lot. Like I took GRE twice. The first time I did really well, but I had a target and then I was like, I need to get that target because I'm trying to get money. So I was very intentional. And I know how stressful it can be, combining studying with like real life work. Nothing stops, right? So I think Tian, it'd be lovely to first start with you to kind of hear your experience. If you took any, what tips do you have about that?
Oh yeah, so I took the GRE because I was also considering schools in the US, and for a typical MBA school or business school, rather, you have to have a GMAT or a GRE. So I took the GRE because it just felt, I wouldn't say easier, but yes, I had a better experience like prepping for it. And I was straight out of law school, and it was just before NYSC started. I actually did enroll for like a tutorial, so I wasn't self-taught. I'm not going to lie to anybody and say it was all me. I enrolled for a 3-month tutorial at like I call it like a center where like they prepare you for TOEFL, GMAT, and then I think also the other English one, L something, I can't remember. So
IELTS?
yes, IELTS. So they also like prep you for that. So I actually did take that, and it was 3 months grueling every day, Monday to Friday school. So after that, they give you assignments, they give you like tests, they prep you in advance for like GRE. So you're doing like mock GRE tests. So I would say that is what really helped me, was just basically tutorials, and I did it for 4 months. I would say it was slightly easier for me because I wasn't really doing so much during NYS, so I did have the time to prep like super well for it. So if you're somebody that is aiming for like good GRE scores for purposes of getting a scholarship or purposes of just like having better options, because yes, as you said, or as Jason said rather, there are some jobs that even I am applying for, and they also ask for like excuse me, they ask you for like GRE scores, GMAT scores, because they are trying to gauge how good you are, like analytically, not just like soft skills or like what you have in your CV, because nothing will show how analytical or like how good your problem solving skills are than like the quantitative part of a GRE or a GMAT or something. So yes, it's super important if you want to like stand out also when it comes to, because everybody has a degree, but you need something to help you stand out. If you have the time, and it's easier said than done, yes, but if it's something you're really committed to, I've always wanted to get an MBA since like last year of uni, 2018. So like I've always like known that okay, this is going to require time. So it's something you have to be devoted to. There's no easy way to say it. You can either be self-taught, or you can be you can hire a tutor. I knew I wasn't so good at math, but like I really needed like to pass. And I think I had a 332 over 340. Yes, thank you. Majorly because I had like tutors. So if it's something you're so committed to, I would highly recommend that. But if it's something that okay, that you don't want to, you can also do the Esade based exam, although it's going to limit you, but if you do well at it, then it gets you into school at least, so I would say that's something I did feel like you have to devote time to it. There's really no other way to it. But if you want to get into Esade next year or this year, you have to start prepping like yesterday if you want to get into, honestly, because it's going to take time, but it's totally doable. I keep saying that to everybody that asks me. So yeah, regarding GRE, that's what I would say.
Kenyan might be very modest, but she was in the 1% highest scores of the GRE. So
yeah,
congratulations, Tinyan.
Thank you. Yeah,
good job.
Yeah, congratulations. That's amazing. Amazing score. I think the couple of things I took from what you said, it's one, you were committed, you created time for it. Yes. And you sought help, understanding that some areas might not be your strength. And that's so important, right? The tutoring, 4 months. I'm sure it wasn't easy, but look at this. 1%, amazing. All right. So Jesuferanmi, I'm coming to you. Can you share some tips about like studying for the GRE, specifically if there's anything that you felt you did that you feel made a major difference, or any resources as well that you would recommend as well?
All right, absolutely. Okay, so I took a different approach to preparing for my GRE. So Esade has this GMAT simulation tests. There are a couple of simulation tests online, but Esade has a micro, mini, and full test. So what I would advise you to do, what I did was I started by taking a micro test because I wanted to have a better understanding of my competency. I wanted to know, even have an idea of what the questions were like. So I did that. And the first time I did it, I was like, whoa, I really need to practice. And so what I did was my sister actually suggested I get the GRE for Dummies book. Right. So the GRE for Dummies book is really good because it breaks down everything for you. It talks about the tricks and how to identify trick questions. It gives you all of the English vocabulary you will find in the GRE or the GMAT, which is very important. How to write essays, but especially breaks down the math problems so that when you spot a question or a problem, you know how to solve it very quickly. You know the ones to not waste time on and to skip, things like that. And then luckily, my brother is very good with math and things like that. And my sister is good with essay writing and just English and vocabulary generally. So they were able to tutor me and guide me. But I really used the GRE. I used the GRE 2022 for Dummies book, and it was really, really helpful. I scored 329, not quite as high as Tinyan's, but still a pretty good score. And what else would I say? Just some tips. You need to be very, goes without saying, you need to be very, very focused. Not everybody is thinking about getting an MBA. You need to understand that. So people might not even relate with your goal or understand what you're going through. So you need to just, at least for a few months, avoid any distractions, surround yourself with people that would encourage you and just really motivate you to succeed. And yeah, there are tutors you can get. I'm not sure what parts of I know that in Lagos, Nigeria, there are a ton of them, to be honest. You can also find friends, but honestly, the GRE for Dummies book, GRE 2022 for Dummies ebook really helped me. That was like a game changer for me. But that was after I took the practice test. So take as many practice tests as you can so that you can have a clear picture and just honestly know what you are good at and what you're lacking in, and then just keep practicing. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I love like the GRE for Dummies. You heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first. And of course, the constant taking the mock, the practice test, very, very important. It kind of just allows you to assess your progress as well.
Sorry, let me just chime in. So if you go to gmat.esade.edu, gmat.esade.edu, that's the link to the practice test, so the GMAT simulation. So you can take that and you just take it from there if you are considering, sitting for the exam.
I will be happy to send you that information. I just want to add something here regarding the test. So while the admissions test is important for the master programs and the full-time MBA program, if we go to the executive MBA program, we also ask you to do this test. Most of our candidates are doing the Esade test in this case. It is a requirement. We have to ask for an admissions test, but there the weight is going to be on the experience, knowing that our executive MBA students have more years of work experience. We're not giving that much importance to the test. So for admissions, but also for scholarships. So it's gonna be, applying for the Africa Talent Award for the executive MBA, this 50% scholarship. The test score is not gonna influence our decision about that. It's gonna be your experience. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. While for the MBA and for the master programs, of course, when we calculate when we're gonna be doing our evaluation for the scholarship, we fill. It's a calculation at the end. We fill in the GPA, we fill in your test score, and then I will have to give a grading on your overall experience. So it's an automatic calculation which say, okay, you will qualify for the scholarship, and what would be then the range where you fall in, right? For the Excellence Award. If we go to the NEET scholarship, while the Excellence Award goes up to a very maximum of 40, some exceptions, 50% of the tuition fee, the NEET scholarship, which is 75 or 85%, just knowing that we only have 3 available for 180 MBA students, we have 8 available for 580 master students. There, besides your talent, being a talent scholarship, it's also going to be based on your financial situation. So you will have to provide additional documents on your financial situation. While for the Excellence Award, we take decisions every week and we have budget available most of the year. I would say don't wait until July. But for the NEET scholarship, we have 3 deadlines. We already have passed 2 deadlines. So if you're still interested for the full-time MBA and the master program to apply for the NEET scholarship, the next deadline is the 11th of March. So that means that you can only apply for the NEET scholarship once you are admitted. So that means that we have to go fast. You have to submit your application by next week. You will have to book or your GMAT test, the Esade test, we have the result in 5 days, so that you are admitted at the latest the first Thursday of March, so that you can still apply for the NEET scholarship by the 11th of March. So that's going to be a little bit more stressful for if you want to apply for the NEET scholarship, but it is still possible, but we have to go fast. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that and for clarifying all of that. So I also wanted to ask you, during the application process, did you discover that there was something where you wish you had known, right, before starting the application process about just applying to graduate school? Something that you were like, oh, I wish someone had told me this, or I knew this.
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first since you're already speaking.
So for me, I wouldn't say there is something I wanted to know, because this should be like my 7th application to like the business school. And I would say really for schools like Esade and mostly European schools, they are quite straightforward with whatever it is they're asking of you. Now they're just going to ask you different questions, and it's going to be based off of what you already know, like your experiences, like your goal for business school, like your goals afterwards. But something, excuse me, I will tell anybody that is applying business school is have all the necessary documents you're going to need. Because it's a fast process with Esade. I would say you're not going to transcripts maybe when you've already been accepted into school. You need to have like all your documents readily available to be tendered if need be. So that's something I would say, have all your documents. If you haven't gotten your transcript from school, which would not be likely because everybody should have that by now, you should get your transcripts. It's something that you're going to need. But regardless of your transcript, I would say just have your story. Because I'm going to tell, like, if you're going to come from, okay, I'm going into business school because I want to progress in my career, you should have stories that will back that up. If you're coming from, oh, I'm going to transition into like another career path or another country or whatever, you need to have your story. And it needs to be very original. So an advice I'm going to give an MBA student, which I already knew, was just be original with your story, because it's going to shine through if it's like genuine or you're just trying to get into business school. You can't hide it. It will show, because there's a certain approach or there's a certain excuse me, there's just a certain way it's going to show through your application. So you shouldn't be a fraud, like bullshitting your way into business school. Sorry for my language, but it's just the truth. You need to be original. You need to be authentic. You just need to know that, okay, this is something I want to do and I'm doing it well. But like, that's an advice I'm going to give somebody. And I would say, I would advise everybody to do GRE, even though it's hard, but it just always gives you an edge. But if you know that, okay, you're probably like going back to your job, or you already know your career path and a way to go about it, then yes, you can do the Esade test, which is also good. But Esade test is just strictly within Esade. You can't use it like outside, Esade. So an advice I would give is like, you just have to have your story too. Even if it's not true, but you should be able to sell it, which I'm not going to advise anybody to bullshit your way, but like, you have your story, and yes, it should just be who you are. And it was what I told, Jesu and Nadia, someone else who applied, like, you just have to be very true to whatever it is you're saying or like doing. So I would advise like sincerity and genuineness totally, and know how you want to like make an impact. How do you want to add to the school? Because we are here because of what our predecessors have done. So maybe in 3 years' time, we'll be wherever Esade is because of what you are going to do. So always have it at the back of your mind that, okay, how am I going to like help promote this school? How am I going to help pay forward to other people behind? So these are things that you should know before you're coming into business school. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I love how you ended with, how you're going to pay forward and not just, focused on you, but how you also want to contribute to the Esade community. So I'm coming to you, Jesuferanmi. Is there any light bulb moment that happened after application or during or something that you were like, I wish they had prepared me, so I would have just known maybe not to tackle this now or tackle this later or tackle this better, Right.
So I would say the first advice, well, I'll just say an advice I would give is that you should start by connecting, start by, talking about who you are. I would also advise, so one thing or let me say a mistake I made when I was picking out schools to apply to was I didn't really understand the vision of the school, what the school was about, the kind of candidates they were looking for. Because there are some business schools that are stronger in finance, for example, and their curriculum is sort of built around finance. Some you find tech, different things like that. For Esade, it's, innovation and impact and, well, a lot of other things, of course, management and all. So it's better for you to research the school and talk to people about the schools you want to apply to. Esade, if you want to apply to Esade, and just before you start, take a moment to reflect on your life. The whole process of applying for a full-time MBA, it's a lot of introspection. You're looking back, you are evaluating your life, you are reveling on your successes or the mistakes you made, and just try to connect everything together. I work in a non-profit rehabilitation center. Most people that I know that apply to MBAs are in finance or marketing or all of these other industries. So I'm probably maybe not an oddball, but a bit different, right? Although I have a diverse experience. But one thing I would advise is just connect your experiences together and just tell a story, which will really help in your application because you don't want anything looking disjointed. And I mentioned researching the schools because most schools charge an application fee. You don't want to spend money here and there. I mean, I'm Nigerian and then the exchange rate is not smiling. So you want to make sure that you're making very smart decisions. You want to make sure that you're actually connecting with somebody in the school, someone on the admissions committee before you just spending all of that money on application fees. And you want to make sure that you are who they're looking for. I mean, you will fit in, it aligns with your goals. So when I started my application, honestly, it was a lot going on for me with my job. So it took me a while to, I met Ursi in December and I didn't submit my application until, that was beginning of December until January, because I realized that I had to take some time to, of course, prepare for my exam, but also just reflect and understand, why and all of that and research the schools and all. So, that's just something I would say.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And just being so candid and just, really dropping some important gems. So I think this is a great way to just segue to, why did you apply to Esade? What was it about Esade that connected with you? And Jesuferanmi, I'm going to start with you first. What stood out to you? You talked about researching, right? Understanding that what the school, what their vision is, what their mission is, how does that connect to you? And so I'm curious to hear, why did you choose to apply to Esade?
Should I go? Can I go?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Honestly, I didn't know about Esade until I got the email for Access MBA. Because initially I was focusing on schools in the United States, honestly. So I got this email from Access MBA inviting me to the fair in Lagos. And I'm like, okay. And they asked me to select a few schools I wanted to know more about. And I'm like, Esade, Barcelona. So I selected the school. I did a bit of research, but not much. But everything happened when I sat down in front of Ursi and Fejiro, that's her name. She's an executive MBA candidate. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if she's graduated yet. I believe she's still a candidate. And we spent a long time talking. I felt bad about the person sitting beside me because I felt like she didn't have enough time to ask her questions because we're just boom focused. We're talking and talking. And it resonated with me a lot because of what I currently do. And she's in the medical healthcare space. She does a lot of research. She has all of these projects that she does, targeting underserved communities and children hospitals and all of these things. And she really spoke about how supportive Esade has been. And then when I spoke to Tinyan, and the vibe that I got generally when I spoke to Tinyan and a couple other people at Esade, even I used this Unibody app, and I was just chatting to everybody, saying, hey, I'm applying to Esade. And they were like, oh, hey, that's good. From different communities, the LGBTQ, everyone was just so friendly. And they kept checking on me to say, oh, hi, how's your application going? I'm like, okay, wait. This is very different. This is very different. I like this. I like this. Of course, the process is rigorous. You have to write the exam. The MBA, from what Tian has told me, the process, she says, Tian said, she said, well, apparently you're meant to be stressed as an MBA candidate. Yeah. And I laughed out so loud. So loud. So all of these things happen.
I love
right? That. All of these things happen. And it's just so good to know that, people have your back. Genuinely, that people are not being so competitive, everyone is being inclusive, everyone is being helpful, people are checking on you. Ursi will send me a voice note to just say, oh, hey, this, that, and I just say, you know what, this is really good. This is because a lot goes on in the world, and let's get down to it, right? Things go on, we go through things emotionally, we have all of these goals, we have all of these tasks that we're trying to accomplish, and it's just really nice when you are in a community, in a school where everyone is trying to motivate you. So that's just something that I really love about Esade. I can't wait. I'm excited to join the community officially. I honestly can't wait. I know that I'm sounding so gassed up, but honestly, that is what I have gotten so far, and it's just pretty impressive. And Tinyan talked about paying it forward and all that, and I haven't even started yet, and I can already feel it. So that's just good. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
That was amazing. I'm so gingered. I feel like I'm about to join you guys in the side. I just packed my bags and come right now. I really loved how you touched on the culture. I kept hearing culture, because when you think about community, people, it's the culture. And I know Fejiro personally, she's amazing. I had a feeling you actually mentioned Fejiro. And Yursi and her voice messages are so sweet. Hello. And so, so much energy. So I can't imagine having all that, energy, positive vibe, and then Tina as well. So really, really amazing. I'm really glad to hear that your experience has been really amazing, and you really feel like you found your people. And community is big, right? You mentioned it. This life can be hard. Having that support system is absolutely everything. So thank you so much for sharing that. Tina, I'm coming to you. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. When we first started, you were like, this has been the best 5 months ever. So when you tell us why you chose Esade, I want to hear what has been happening this 5 months to make you so excited, and how do you feel about your choice, right?
Okay. So I tell this to everybody that cares to hear. You would never get a better customer service from any school in Europe than in Esade. I promise you. When I was looking at schools, I reached out to ESC, I reached out to INSEAD, I think I reached out to Bankole, and I reached out to Esade. And of all the 4 schools, you will literally text Lucy at 1 a.m. and she would most likely respond to you within 20 minutes, most likely 9 out of 10 times. You would never get any school in Europe that is so hands-on with their prospective students or students already admitted. And it's not just me. People from different countries or different continents all have the same thing to say. So that is one soft skill selling point that Esade has, a point of differentiation that schools in Europe hardly have. Because schools in Europe are sort of as stuck up, as rigid, as stiff. Yes. And then ESC is 2 minutes away from here, and I spoke to people there. I didn't get the same vibe. from Esade's website alone, you would want to be there. So I would sell Esade's customer care like it's the best, even in like schools in the US. So like that is something that you don't get often. So I would say that is something that drew me. And secondly, the spirit of camaraderie and collaboration between us. It's like Esade says, it's a collaboration, not a competition. And it's true, while everybody's up for the same job and then everybody's up for the same grade, people want to help. Like, we're literally like this in Esade. I think seeing or experiencing is believing. I would never be able to like sell it enough because it's just like amazing people. Speaking to people like from different like different parts of like the world, and then you guys get along, you guys have events. Today we had a Brazilian spotlight thing, and we were over like 80 in the class, just wanting to genuinely learn about like the Brazilian culture, like the Brazilian way of living, and like blah blah blah, like these little things. It shows like how together we are. So you can randomly host something, and people that you don't often speak to will show up, and it's just, you know, that spirit of oneness. It shines bright through Esade. It shines bright through the alumni. It shines bright through like prospective students. It also shines through like, you know, we like present students. So that's something that I would really sell Esade on. And once you get in, I think I shared like we see like a material for like the visa process. It's really not difficult. If you start in time, you will get it done. And coming to how it's been the best, and also application process is super easy, super straight to the point. You don't need to do too much. I think you just need like two references. So from a very commonsensical point of view, if you know you're going to get like you're like thinking of the MBA 2 months, at least a month, and you should already like be speaking to whoever is going to give you your reference. So that goes without saying that you also have to be prepared on your path, you know. And then when it comes to like living in Barcelona, I'm sorry, there's no better city in Europe.
Yay.
I'm not even lying. There really isn't, because here we go to school, we practice super hard, we just it's worth, I promise it's worth living. Like you come to Barcelona, you're like, yeah, you know, I can see everybody's really nice to you. You get to like pick Spanish up, you not really sold on the food, but other than that, you have classes, you have so many activities. Like it doesn't get better. Like the weather is, I'm wearing this sweater, but like I'm feeling warmish. It doesn't get colder than maybe 10 degrees here, you know. So the weather is good, you're like good weather, you're a happier person. You have school, like it might be a lot of school work in first and most especially, it actually is. But then you just have so many social activities to balance it out. So you're not just stressed, you're stressed knowing that okay, you're going to have a good time later, you're going to have a good time the weekend. There are so many trips. We're going like on a skiing trip on Friday, like school. But like last weekend, we had like after exams, we had like 5, 6 day like holiday, and then a couple people traveled. I went to Malta. And the good thing about Europe is you have your residence card, you can travel anywhere, you know. So the social part also balances like the work aspect of like your academic load. So the balance is super important. And that's why it's like 5 months, you know. So but also I would say the bad parts, or like I wouldn't say the bad part, but you may not necessarily you cannot work. Wow, because somebody's asking it right now, so I'm just going to address it. You can't really work to support yourself because you don't have the time. So I don't think Spain allows you to work as a student here. That is, I would say, downside. But the good thing is the ROI you're getting from an MBA, even if you're taking a loan, yes, there are jobs that would pay you. Especially with our new ranking, by the way, if you guys don't know, we are ranked number 8 in the world by Financial Times as top business school, like number 8 on the list of like top business schools in Europe. So this also would affect how much more you're going to be in demand, like in the job market, because jobs also look at like, you know, ratings, and then Esade has very good relationships with like very many companies. So you might not be able to work, but it is temporary. You most likely will get an internship, and then you transition into like a full-time role, and then you're getting jobs that will be able to pay off your loan. So just look at it as an opportunity cost. Yes, I'm not working now, but I'm going to get a better job after my MBA to support myself and pay off my loans. I'm going to be brutally honest. Even if you go to top schools in the US, you may not be able to work. That's just the truth. So just, have this I've got to keep in mind. So yeah.
I want to add something here about visas and all that. So and working, and as Tinyan said, no, you're not allowed to work during the program. Of course, for those of you that want, you can do your internship, which is 3 months. You can opt to do 2 internships. The internships are paid for, unless you want to do one of the projects by our development department, where you're going to be working as a consultant in developing countries. Which are then internships with social impact. Of course, they're not remunerated, but the normal, the normal standard internship, what we say, of course, is also remunerated, but that's at the end of the program, right? But during the program, it is impossible, even if you had, it's very intense. You're going to be doing this once in your life, so take the most out of it. Do, as Timian said, if there's study tours, study tracks, electives, be part of clubs. We have so many clubs that are organizing all kind of interesting interactions with companies. Take advantage of giving yourself exposure to companies through challenges, competitions, the projects that you're going to be doing. And also, of course, take some time to socialize, because that's also a way of networking, getting to know the other students and other cultures where you're also going to be learning from, right? So you're going to be doing it once in your life. So take the most out of it. And then regarding the visas, once you start the program, you will get all the information from our student advisor. But there are different ways now to apply for visas. We have currently also a 2-year job seeking visa for after graduation. And there's an interesting also collaboration with the Netherlands, that if you have graduated from Esade, you can apply for a job seeking visa, a 1-year job seeking visa in the Netherlands, which could also, for example, be interesting for those of you that, most probably you will have a job, but if you say, look, I want to explore, and so that's going to be, an option. There's a question for age ceiling. We don't have an age ceiling. Now, it's all going to be depending on your work experience. So there again, and what kind of experience you have. Because for the master programs, we don't require work experience, but we do have some students that have a couple of years of work experience, mainly if we're going to really focus programs like entrepreneurship, sustainability. We might have some master students that are 26 or 27. But of course, you have to take into account also who I'm going to be in class with, who I'm going to be learning from. Because, if you have 6 years of work experience, you're not going to be doing an international management program where you're going to be in class with students that don't have the same work experience as you, because you're not going to be learning from them, right? So I have several candidates that were applying for the master programs that had 3 years of work experience in finance, for example, or that were applying for the master in finance, that I said, no, your profile is very much suitable for a full-time MBA. Graduating for a full-time MBA, of course, joining a company, your entry level at the company will be a much higher level than if you graduate from a master program. Of course, obviously also your salary, right? So there again, it's going to be a conversation that I'm happy to have with you. Also, the difference between the full-time MBA, executive MBA, it's really going to be depending on what change you want to do. Do you want to do a radical change? Okay, MBA program. Are you looking into growing into your company or expanding your business? You already have 6, 7, 8, 9 years of work experience. Then the executive MBA might be a better choice for you. But of course, I'm very much happy to have this personal conversation with all of you to further assess you. I think, well, we have been having a really interesting conversation for the last hour and a half. I see there's one more questions coming in. Are there any specific groups or some sorts of support for students who are young parents, especially moms? All right. So do you mean support with childcare or financial support? Just to specify a little bit more, but I'm happy also to have a conversation and really go into your personal situation. As far as I know, in the full-time MBA, correct me, Tinyan, if I'm wrong, no. In the past, we had some couples, I don't know this year, but some Asian couples that came with their spouse and with children, that one of both was doing the MBA, the other one was working remotely. They brought their children. And of course, I mean, we have our student advisor that is going to be helping you with connections, because it's not, I mean, we did have students that came and that had children. But that's going to be the student advisor that's going to help you with connections for childcare and so on. But of course, I mean, I think Esade, we always want to do the best for our students. So whatever situation you're in, if you have any challenge, there's always going to be help to get you through the program. And if it's like health issues, if it's like, I mean, struggling with the program academically, everybody's going to be there to guide you. So yeah. So, well, I think we can, we had a really, really interesting conversation. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to be sharing both of our contact details here. For those of you that want to reach out to Bimpe and are interested in having her support, feel free to send an email to her. If you would like to book an online session with me, you have this QR code. Feel free to book. It goes directly to my Calendly. I just have to update for March with new slots. But in any case, I'm going to be sending you an email tomorrow or at the latest on Friday. As soon as I have the recording of the session, I will include it. I will send a message to all of you so you can rewatch it. And you might want to forward it to any of your contacts that might be interested. So yeah, you're going to be receiving information from our site. And then I don't know, Bimpe, if you want to add something, maybe Parami or Tinyan, maybe a last advice to candidates. We can maybe end with that.
All right. Yeah, so I just wanted to say, like, just go for it. Start early, but start now, right? And I think they've said a lot about, being intentional about creating a time to prepare, ensuring that you understand that the school aligns with your values, and that you connect with the school's mission, connect with the community. And of course, if you need help on your applications and you're trying to figure out what to do, Edward Consulting is here to help you. Send us an email, send me a message on LinkedIn, and we're happy to support Africans. And we just want Africans to excel all over the world.
Yeah, well, I think everybody has said everything. If you're thinking about Esade, honestly, it's one of the best things I would say to happen to me, So I don't regret it. I would advise any and everybody who is thinking about schooling in Europe. Honestly, this is like, it's worth it. It's worth the loan. It's worth everything you're going to do by the grace of God. And I would just say, yes, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. There's nothing like too many questions. Some people help me. I'm more than happy to help anybody. And I'm very much available to answer your numerous questions, regardless of how silly you think they might be. So I'm your girl.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Parami, I mean, we will be in contact. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you again on campus. And then Tinyan, of course, I'm seeing you. I will be seeing you on campus. And then Bimpe, it was a really pleasure. I really enjoyed organizing this session with you. And I hope there's going to be many more collaborations in the future.
Of course.
All right. Have a lovely evening to all of you. Stay safe.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, thank you.
Everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.
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 Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.